All right, first of all, just want to say congratulations to Christy Coleman being named CEO of Tepper Sports Entertainment. Just in my short time that I've been working with Christy, just the way that she comes every day. She's fired up about game day. First text I get in the morning is happy game day. Super excited about it, and just her leadership means a lot to all of us in this organization. So, and then big congrats to SMU and Clemson playing. Weird kind of saying SMU in the ACC championship, but SMU Clemson being played right here in Bank of America Stadium. So, really exciting day for those teams as well. Any questions?
Yeah, Coach, starting with the loss of Derek Brown, and the run defense has struggled most of the year. With Barkley coming in, how important will it be for the line to stay stout?
Yeah, every week, right? Starts with the run game. This is a group, the Eagles are committed to the run game. And, Saquon, right off the bat, a really good offensive line, and the quarterback who can also do some things with, with the zone reads in the RPO game. So it's a big task, and we have to make sure that we're looking at it, we're attacking it in practice, and making sure we have a good plan for that.
Yeah, with the way that they're rolling, are they kind of, I know you played the Chiefs in a diverse offense, but is this offense maybe more multifaceted?
It's really, honestly, the thing that I respect and admire about Coach Sirianni is just the fundamental principles that they play with. It's the schemes are just sound. Whether it's in any phase, special teams, offense, and defense. They play sound football and they play hard, and it's really cool to see and to watch, because that's what we want to do. We want to get our systems in place to play that kind of sound, aggressive football. And where they do have some different schemes, but they're not trying to fool you. You know what they're going to do. They just execute at a high level with a lot of talent. So it's a great challenge for us this week.
Hurts. I mean, you kind of addressed him a little bit, but
yeah,
he's obviously a difference maker with the way they operate.
Absolutely. A guy that knows how to win games. He's a smart football player, first and foremost, and he knows how to get the ball to his talent, the skill players on the outside. And then when he does tuck it down, he can run and he can do those things. So a really good football player.
Dave, Jalen Coker was a full participant in practice today. What did you see since Monday that made you confident that you can go today?
Yeah, just pushing the workload, pushing it early in the week and then getting him back out there. We had a great individual period. He ran his routes full speed. He looked great. He's got a different look in his face. Like, I can tell he feels confident. And he came off of the bye week, with some pretty fresh legs, and, had the injury happen there in practice, a couple weeks ago. And but he's got himself back to a good place, and I can just tell by his demeanor, that he's feeling really good. So we're excited to get him back out there.
Trending toward playing this week?
I would hope so, yes. So we still are taking him through a process, to make sure we're doing the right thing, the smart thing, but he moved around great today. It was a non-contact football day today, but he moved around great, and then tomorrow we'll be able to, play a little bit more football and see where he's at.
Dave, how much can Brooks' kind of weekly progress and more workload help you guys lean into that run identity that you've wanted to really establish here?
It'd be great, right? It's the vision of being able to, like, for Chuba to get out there and run hard as he wants to, and then when Jonathan pops in there, you don't skip a beat, and just to let the progression for Jonathan happen naturally, and you saw his play last week, and the couple of times he was able to touch the ball. You see his confidence, you see some of the skill set come alive, breaking tackles, running hard, those types of things that we're counting on, and so I just hope that he just continues to stack 1 week at a time.
Dave, back on the Eagles' run game, Barkley looks like he's a guy that gets stronger as the game goes on. Is that more a testament to him as not a real big back, or more his line kind of wearing teams down?
It's both, and I'll always start with what happens up front, and this is a really good offensive line that he's playing behind, and it's also the commitment, of the run game, where they're going to run it early. They're going to run it late, the whole time, and it's the attrition that takes place that they continue to stick with it, and have success that way. And of course, it comes back to also making first downs, and they've done a good job on third down as well to give them more opportunities to get back to the run game. So it's a commitment.
Had you ever seen a backwards hurdle of a player until a few weeks ago?
Never, not once. Yeah, it was an incredible play.
And your numbers across the board defensively are better defensively the last 3 games as one of them came back, except for the run defense. Is that just, another sign that you really miss Derek Brown and just don't have the personnel to be what you want to be right now, or?
You know, these are the guys we're counting on, and it's about playing team defense. It's about tackling together. It's about owning leverage. Give a little shout out to Coach Tim Lukabu, who presented today on fundamentals. That's our Wednesday presentation. He talked about leverage and the power that comes with owning your leverage, you know, whether it's in the pass game or whether it's in the run game, you know, and showed great examples offensively and especially defensively. It's a trust factor to know that each person all along the line is going to play their spot, going to fit their gap and own their leverage so that the ball bounces back to somebody eventually, you know, who's available to make a tackle. And then it's finishing on these tackles. It's making sure that we get guys down. We're tackling with our near shoulder and running our feet at contact. So it's all those basic things that we got to continue to press into every week.
Yeah, Bryce has gone 3 weeks without any interceptions. Not Jackson. But you know, what are you seeing out of his play that, you know, he's cutting down on mistakes, and is it something schematically that you guys are, or is it just him making better throws, better plays? What are you seeing?
It's confidence and it's decisiveness. It's knowing what the concept is, getting a preview of what's happening from a coverage standpoint, and then making quick decisions. And if you can play on time, throw to the first open guy and then progress quickly, get to your scrambles once you're above that 2.7, you know, and you activate the second play as our QB coach, Will Harriger, always likes to say. He's like, activate the second play, baller mode. Here we go. And, you know, he's getting to those things and he's winning the down. He's finding ways to win. And that's kind of my message always to quarterbacks that I've been talking to forever is there's a win in every play. Sometimes it's that, you know, on-time completion. Sometimes it's the off-schedule play. Sometimes it's the throwaway. Sometimes it's a sack. End the play with the ball, they got us, you know, so there's different ways to win the down so that we can continue to have opportunities, and he's just doing a great job of being really decisive.
Robert Hunt said after the game that with the close losses, the team has to learn how to win those games. What does that mean to you? What does that look like, learning how to win?
Yeah, it's about the focus that has to be on. It's got to be on point all the way through the finish. Do right longer than the opponent. Can we continue to execute all the way through the finish of the game? And that's where I've seen us have great focus for most of the game. But in those critical situations, the bigger the moment, the smaller the focus. It's about your fundamentals. It's about your footwork, your hand placement. It's about owning your landmarks, all those things, and just executing and having that mentality that if I just do my job consistently, that'll win, you know? And so I think that it comes from just experience and confidence, playing together, knowing you're going to be in these types of situations, to be comfortable with those situations. Be comfortable with having to go down and try to win the game in a 2-minute situation. Be comfortable with having a lead and finishing in a 4-minute, you know, and defensively getting people off the field, you know, and executing. So I think that's what Rob was alluding to, and that's the message that I've had to our group is we will be here in these situations again, guys. The bigger the moment, the smaller the focus. We don't need great plays. We just need normal plays. Do your normal job just like you know how to do it, and then that leads to winning.
Dave, the Eagles have 2 rookies, Quentin Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, that just really kind of pop on tape.
Yeah.
When you watch, what have you seen from them, and why have they been able to make an impact so quickly?
Yeah, starting with Cooper DeJean, just a really smart player, physical. You know, he challenges things. He reroutes things with his hands. He owns his leverage. He plays really well in the system, shows up aggressively to tackle, and really competes. You know, you see him competing. Even when a guy seems like he's got the catch, he's competing to try to rake the ball out all the way to the ground. So I think it starts off with that in his effort. You know, with Quinion Mitchell, you know, he's a talent. You know, he's big, he's fast, he's got quickness, all those things, you know, ideal length out there on the outside, you know, and really fits the scheme well, you know, a scheme that we're familiar with. So they're doing a great job, and I got to tip the cap to the coaches because I know that there's a lot of hard work that goes into getting rookies, you know, to play at a high level, you know, at this point in their career.
What have you seen out of Everode? I know I've asked you about it before, but
Yeah.
what have you seen out of him during those first 7 or 8 games and these last 3 games and say, hey, that was the right guy to bring in here? Because you guys have, now that you guys have players back, improved.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the consistency of his messaging, you know, and it's echoing all through the building. It's just talking about the fundamentals, fundamental execution, and not backing off of those things. You know, this is how we do things, guys. This is how we play these calls. This is how we tackle. You know, there's a plan and a process for all of it, you know, and I've just watched Jero just like, you know, through this season to just stay consistent to the messaging, and that's where the progress has continued to stack up. You know, if we can keep the principles the same and our messaging simple, then the guys have something that they can really grasp onto.
Did you use the Al Shair hit as a teaching moment here?
I have not.
Even with your quarterbacks too and sliding?
No, I have not shown that to the team yet.
Bryce last year sort of famously or infamously conceded that he was not good at sliding. Is there anything you all have tried to do, with that since you've gotten here?
Well, he's got his ways of getting it done, and I think you've seen him kind of move around and and find ways to avoid those contacts and those big hits, and that's just been his style. He doesn't have a lot of baseball in his background, but that is definitely something that we talk about, and just making sure that you have a plan to protect the quarterback. And then I try to remind him, you're the quarterback. So it's kind of a I try to keep it light, but at the same time, it's serious, and when you're heading into the end zone, when you're heading out of bounds, when you're in the middle of the field, having a plan for where those defenders are coming at you.
Did you send the Thielen non-catch to the league, and did you get an answer that was maybe different than what we got earlier in the week?
We just sent in just the ruling, was just, we wanted just clarification, and I didn't have, I haven't seen the response yet, but just the clarification of was it a catch, no catch, or was it inbounds, out of bounds that was in question on the original incomplete, call, because then that can kind of direct a little bit of the feedback, where I was trying to sell, like, we saw control, and just kind of reiterating the fact that, the ball can move, but as long as you don't lose control. And then, but the camera angles were inconclusive. So again, like we talked about before, I think if they call it a touchdown, they would have stayed with it. They called it incomplete. They're going to stay with it based on the information they had.
Is there any information about the lack of camera angles? Because I know they said that there were less cameras used in that game than.
No, other than just knowing, like, in primetime games, you're going to have a lot more angles available, and then whatever your normal, coverage is, that's what we have to go off of. And here's the thing too. With that, sometimes it works to your advantage. Sometimes it works for the other team as well. So it's fair for both teams in any of those situations.
Do your guys in the box have a clear view of a couple years ago, one of your predecessors said that the coach's box was actually, because of the construction of the layout of the stadium, couldn't see the video board. What kind of feedback have you gotten from your guys on that?
That has not been an issue for us.
Dave,
The last one.
Raheem Blackshear is among those who are under Pro Bowl consideration for his return specialty. What have you seen from him this year? Just generally speaking, how has he stood out as a returner to you?
As a returner, but also in the coverage unit, I think the biggest thing that I can say about Raheem is just his willingness to do whatever it takes to try to help the Panthers win. And that's his commitment, and whatever we ask him to do and whatever role it is, he made a tackle last week, really nice tackle the week before too, just on, kind of helping out on one of the kickoff coverage units, and then he's been the returner as well, and he's done a great job by and large of taking care of the ball and making sure that we're securing the yards that we have. So I can't say enough about Raheem, just battling and just trying to find a way to help us.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right,